Ahoy hoy, I'm Planarwalk, and recently, as some of you may know, the globe market crashed. Like many markets, but that's beside the point. So that means that there is no longer any financial incentive for me to lie about the shape of the Earth. So, what is the shape of the Earth? The true shape of the Earth? It's still a globe, always has been. But there is one question that I do have for flat earthers. What would actually be the point of hiding the shape of the Earth? The reason I ask this is because if you just think for a couple of seconds, then you'll realize that there really is no point to hiding the shape of the Earth. Because even if I was getting paid by the globe manufacturers, which I'm not, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's because the Earth is flat. It could just be that there's been a decline in globe sales due to the rise of flat earthers. But in all seriousness, let's actually go through some of the reasons that flat earthers give as to why there's some global conspiracy to hide the shape of the Earth. So the first reason is because NASA wants all of the taxpayer money or something like that, which doesn't make any sense because NASA didn't exist until 1958. Unless you want to argue, of course, that the people that came up with the idea that Earth is a globe didn't necessarily intend to profit off of it themselves, but thought that maybe one day some of their descendants, and I stress the word some of their descendants, would be able to use it to make a profit. And that makes absolutely no sense because there's no way that they could have known that one day we would have the technology that would at the very least make space travel seem feasible. And also, these people would have a lot of descendants. Most people alive today would be descended from them. So there's that. But another reason that flat earthers give for there being a conspiracy is they're trying to hide God by using the globe. Now obviously the question here becomes, which God? Because if you're talking about an all-knowing, all-powerful God that wants people to believe in it, why would they let themselves be hidden by mere humans? But let's say that you don't believe in an all-knowing, all-powerful God, and think that the globe is being used to hide the God of the Bible. There's still a problem with that. The big issue with that is Jesus. You see, by the time of Jesus, everybody thought that the Earth was a globe. Now, I know that that concept will break quite a few flat earthers' brains, so I'm going to need to give a small explanation about this. Geocentrism and flat earth are not the same thing. Copernicus wrote about heliocentrism as opposed to geocentrism, not about the globe as opposed to the flat earth. This is a very common misunderstanding that a lot of people have, and they don't actually realize that it is incorrect. The reason why people believe this is because it was used as an attack on religious people, to say to religious people, well, your people thought that the Earth was flat until not long ago. You'd have to be an idiot to believe the Earth is flat. And because of this, it's rather ironic that flat earthers think that we all thought that the Earth was flat until 400 years ago, and the reason why they said that it was a globe was to hide God. Very ironic. Now, if we look at when the Earth was actually discovered to be a globe, we'll find that it is about 500 BC. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but BC means before Christ, doesn't it? So this means that if the globe Earth was made up as a conspiracy to try and hide God, and Jesus was sent by God to Earth to tell everybody about his word, then Jesus should have mentioned that the Earth was flat. But he didn't. In fact, one of the funny things is that for the past couple of millennia, despite people thinking the Earth is a globe, religion has managed to flourish. It's almost as if, I don't know, most religions don't depend on the Earth being flat to be successful. In fact, some religious people think that it's better that we live on a globe, going through space, in a vast universe, because that just shows how powerful God is to be able to create the entire universe. And that would be quite impressive. So no matter how you slice it, it makes absolutely no sense for us to be lied to about the shape of the earth in order to stop us all from believing in God. Now, the third reason that I've heard is one of the more interesting reasons, and that is that they lie about the shape of the earth in order to hide the lands beyond the ice walls. Now, whilst I'd love for this to be true, if we apply just a little bit of common sense, then we find that it absolutely makes no sense. So the question we should ask here is, when was Antarctica discovered? It was discovered in 1820. So this means that if the Earth were flat, when they all decided that they'd tell everyone that it was a globe, there is no way that they could have known about lands beyond the ice wall, because they didn't know about the ice wall. And even if they did know about the ice wall, I doubt they would have known anything about any lands beyond the ice wall, because Antarctica is a very harsh environment, and I doubt they would have been able to traverse it with the technology of the time. Now, there is one last one that I've heard, and that is, all history is false, and most of humanity was wiped out by a mudflood. God damn it. Alright, where do I begin with this? There is no evidence that there was ever a mudflood, and there is no evidence that the entirety of human history is false. Well, I just think you're being close-minded. It's obvious to everyone that looks into it that there used to be a network of Yggdrasil trees, and once they were cut down, it caused the mud flood. And that is why they have erased human history, because they don't want us to know about it. And some people did manage to escape to the lands beyond, and if we were to go to the lands beyond, then we'd know about the real history, and that's why they don't tell us that the Earth is flat. You do realise that you just made up a whole lot of bullshit there, right? I didn't make up anything, I'm telling the truth. And let me guess, you learnt the truth from watching a couple of YouTube videos, right? Exactly. Thought so. People that make YouTube videos aren't necessarily intelligent. I should know, because I'm a people that makes YouTube videos, and I'm not necessarily intelligent. But there are a lot of intelligent people out there that say with a high degree of certainty that the Earth is a globe. Why? Because their work would be completely different if it wasn't. Now, someone could say that they're all lying about the shape of the Earth, but why would they do that? Why would every single meteorologist lie about the shape of the Earth? Why would every single person who's worked on GPSs lie about the shape of the Earth? Why would every single pilot lie about the shape of the Earth? Why would every single employee at a space agency lie about the shape of the Earth? Why would every single astrophysicist lie about the shape of the Earth? And with just those groups alone, there would be a lot of people in those groups. Now, you could say that they're being controlled by they and actually work for the people that are trying to hide the shape of the Earth, but you'd think that at least a couple of them would come forward and say, well, actually, the Earth is flat. But in reality, they don't come forward and say the Earth is flat, because they have no reason to come forward and say the Earth is flat, because it's not flat. My suggestion for any flat earther that has made it this far is to look into why the more intelligent people, like pilots, like people that have worked on GPS, etc., believe that the Earth is a globe, rather than just saying, oh, they're lying because they're part of the conspiracy. Two of the people that come to mind immediately when I think about people that are more intelligent than me, that believe the Earth is a globe because of their profession, would be PhD Tony and Wolfie 6020. I'll be linking both of their channels in the description so that you can go take a look at what they do, and if you're a flat earther, make sure you go into it with an open mind. But this is where I'm bringing the video to a close. If you've heard any reasons why flat earthers think that there is a conspiracy to hide the shape of the Earth that I didn't mention in this video, make sure you let me know down in the comments section. As always, a big shout out to my $20 or more patrons. What Jesus, Hugh Jarsz, M.C.Nutkin, Wolfie, and Morrie. If you want to support me financially, you can do so on Patreon. There should be a link there. But anyway, I will see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching. So when it comes to the trees that were part of the Yggdrasil network, their stumps are still around today, and I think that's pretty undeniable evidence that there used to be giant trees as part of an Yggdrasil network. And when it comes to the mud flood, well, the mud flood is undeniable at this point because there are basements that have windows that were boarded up. Why would you board up windows? It just doesn't make any sense. And why are you falling asleep on me? This is very interesting stuff. Don't fall asleep.